That's Jim Felton from Greenberg and Bass. This is the Tax Show with Peter Stephan from the Tax Resolution Institute. I'm Brian Whitman from The Morning Answer. We meet every Sunday afternoon to talk about tax issues and unresolved tax problems. And here we are, the last day of March, and we got 2 weeks to file our tax return. So let's talk about that, Peter. Obviously, the point has been made, file the return. If you have to file an extension, file an extension. By the way, what percentage of people file extensions? Is that a lot of people who do that? I've done it. I certainly have.
I don't know what the exact percentage is, but I would say a good 40% of my clients file extensions because they have more complicated situations than most. Most of the people who are getting refunds, the 1040s, just some itemized deductions and mortgage interest and real estate taxes and the like, tend to file quickly because they want their refund quickly.
Right.
The people who owe, that is, people who have more complex tax situations, whether they be LLCs, S corp flow-throughs, complicated real estate transactions during the year and the like, tend to make a payment with extension, and then we do their returns in October. It's actually for those people out there, a 6-month extension of time for filing individual returns. You
were a guest of ours on The Morning Answer here on the radio station a number of months ago, and we talked about at that time the fiscal cliff and how I think a lot of people this year are experiencing a delay in getting their refund because Washington is just sort of, people are not getting their refunds as quickly. Hopefully by this late date people have, but some people are still waiting.
In fact, Brian, I just got an email from the IRS this morning.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, we're on their good boys list.
Oh, good.
And they have finally, as of the 3rd, which I believe is it today? It was yesterday.
Yes.
We're finally able to electronically file many, even individual and corporate returns that are due. The corporate returns are due on the 15th of March, and we haven't been able to file until yesterday.
Yeah, right. Now, what are some red flags? Because I think it's really helpful now as we're so close to April 15th, coming up at the end of tax season here, or what should be the end of tax season. For you, tax season, of course, it just goes on and on because we're dealing with unresolved tax issues at the Tax Resolution Institute.
Let me take that for a second, Brian. The real tax season nowadays is September and October because so many people file extensions of time to file their returns.
I understand that. What are red flags, audit red flags? Because if people are filing, we're all three a couple of real dudes here. Let's talk English. Let's speak English. A lot of dummy moves you can make sometimes when you're filing. There are a lot of real red flags for audits,
yes.
right? I mean, what are some of the real winners that you've seen?
Some of the best ones that I've seen is every number rounded on the return. Office expense $1,000, entertainment $3,000, automobile $4,000, and the like. That's almost an automatic. Another classic is do the return yourself and make it look like the dog stepped on it or the kid threw up on it. A sloppy return is what I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
And those things are kicked out. And I've heard some very, very funny stories over the years about some legitimate tax returns that the taxpayer was trying to get out on time, and they were trampled by the kids and the dog and so on, and you got in the mail. But you really shouldn't file a sloppy return. Now, more importantly, and to the real question, I mean, those are the dummy kind of things that sometimes people don't understand, no round numbers and things like that. High charitable contributions and also round numbers there.
Right.
Remember, the law changed about 5 or 6 years ago where all charitable contributions over $250 need to have documentation and or acknowledgement from the charities. Non-cash contributions, certainly over $5,000, a single contribution needs an appraisal attached to the return. nowadays.
Peter Steffen from the Tax Resolution Institute is here. TaxResolutionInstitute.com. If you have an unresolved tax issue, maybe you got a bank levy, maybe your wages are being garnished, you got a letter from the IRS, the California Franchise Tax Board, got to reach out to the Tax Resolution Institute. I did it. I mean, I'm not here on Sunday just because, I like you guys, but, there's other things I could do on Sunday, right? But I believe in what you do because you've helped me. really and truly, your crew over there, Matt, and everybody at the Tax Resolution Institute have helped me really and truly. So I recommend it if you got a problem, you think you might have a problem, 800-658-7590, 800-658-7590. When you go to the Tax Resolution Institute, they'll offer you a consultation. It's not going to cost you anything. They'll diagnose your problem, let you know where you stand to see what's going on here. Question for you. When people have unresolved tax issues and they come in and they resolve them, they go back and they file returns over 2-3 years that were unfiled, is that person who is resolving a tax issue more vulnerable to an audit?
No, not at all, Brian. The IRS and the Franchise Tax Board is more concerned about these people getting back into the system. It's kind of like the conversation we continue to have on and off about offers and compromise. Why would the IRS take less? Why would the Franchise Tax Board take less than the amount that was due them? Well, they want you back in the system so you can pay taxes going forward. And that's and so there's no additional exposure, assuming you don't make these silly mistakes that we talked about a few minutes ago in filing delinquent returns.